science. Settle into a position that feels gentle and easy. Allow the muscles around your eyes to soften. Let your jaw unclench and your shoulders grow heavy. There is nothing you need to do right now but rest and breathe. Your only task is to feel the support of the surface beneath you. As you settle in, the breath can find its own slow rhythm, a quiet rise and fall that needs no effort. Tonight, we will journey into the world of plants. We will explore the silent, steady work of leaves and roots. We will wander from the sunlit surface of a leaf down into the dark, patient earth. Learning will happen in its own time. You are free to drift at any moment. The ideas will remain simple and the pace will stay calm, waiting for you whenever you return. Let your mind become as still as a forest floor, ready to receive these quiet facts. The primary role of a leaf is to perform photosynthesis. This is the quiet process of turning sunlight into energy. Tiny structures inside the leaf, called chloroplasts, act like microscopic solar panels. They capture photons of light and use that energy to combine water, drawn up by the roots, and carbon dioxide from the air. Together, these simple ingredients are transformed into sugars, the food that fuels the entire plant's growth. It is a slow and silent form of alchemy happening all around us, all the time. This gentle conversion of light into life is the foundation of nearly every ecosystem on Earth. Elsewhere in this picture, the plant breathes out oxygen as a byproduct. Let your own breath find a natural, easy rhythm. Beneath the soil, a plant's root system acts as its anchor. Roots grow outward and downward, holding the plant firmly in place against wind and rain. A primary taproot might push deep into the earth, securing the plant against strong forces. In other plants, a fibrous web of many smaller roots spreads out just below the surface, creating a wide and stable base. This anchoring is not aggressive. It is a slow, persistent process of exploration and grip. The roots find pathways through the soil, moving around stones and other obstacles with simple patience. In this way, the plant becomes a steady feature of the landscape. Let your own body feel anchored and supported where you rest. The underside of a leaf is covered in tiny pores called stomata. You cannot see them without a microscope, but they are essential for the plant's survival. These small openings allow the leaf to breathe in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. They also release oxygen and water vapor. Each pore is flanked by two specialized guard cells that can open or close the opening. In the heat of the day, the stomata might close to conserve water. In the cool of the morning, they open wide to let the plant breathe. In a calm rhythm, the plant regulates its own internal world. Allow your thoughts to settle in this quiet space. The very tip of a growing root is protected by a small, tough structure called the root cap. As the root pushes its way through the soil, this cap acts like a tiny helmet. It shields the delicate growing cells just behind it from abrasion and damage. The cells of the root cap are constantly being worn away by friction with soil particles, but they are also constantly being replaced from behind. The cap also secretes a slimy substance called mucilage, which lubricates the path, allowing the root to slide through the earth with less resistance. With unhurried steps, the root tip journeys safely into the dark soil. Let that idea rest for a moment before we move on. Leaves come in an almost endless variety of shapes and sizes, a field of study known as leaf morphology. Some leaves are simple, with a single undivided blade. Think of a maple leaf or an oak leaf. Others are compound, made up of multiple smaller leaflets attached to a central stem, like the frond of a fern or the leaf of an ash tree. These shapes are not random. They are adaptations to the plant's environment, balancing the need for sunlight with the risks of water loss heat, or wind damage. From a distance, this diversity creates the rich texture of a forest or a meadow. Nothing urgent here, only a slow and steady pattern of variation. Roots have the ability to sense gravity, a process known as gravitropism. This ensures that they grow downward into the soil, where they can find water and nutrients. Specialized cells within the root cap contain tiny, dense starch grains called statoliths. These grains are heavier than the rest of the cell's contents, so they settle at the bottom of the cells, pulled by gravity. This settling action sends a signal that tells the root which way is down, guiding its growth. Even if a seed starts upside down, its roots will quickly reorient themselves to grow into the earth. With the same easy pace, the plant finds its grounding. You can breathe a little deeper and allow the thought to drift. The network of veins in a leaf serves a dual purpose. First, these veins are part of the plant's vascular system, like a network of tiny pipes. They transport water and minerals from the roots up to the leaf cells for photosynthesis. Second, they carry the sugars produced in the leaf back to the rest of the plant to provide energy for growth. The arrangement of these veins, called venation, also provides a structural framework supporting the soft tissue of the leaf and holding it open to the sun. Up close, the pattern is intricate and beautiful, a quiet map of life-giving pathways. Hold the shape of that thought lightly and return to ease. Covering the surface of a young root are millions of tiny, delicate root hairs. These are not roots themselves, but single-cell extensions of the root's outer layer. Their purpose is to dramatically increase the surface area available for absorption. A single plant can have billions of them, forming a fuzzy, almost invisible fringe around the main roots. Each root hair works to pull in water and dissolve nutrients from the soil. They are fragile and short-lived, constantly being replaced as the root grows into new territory. Without any hurry, the plant drinks from the soil through this vast, silent network. Let the body grow heavier as the mind stays simple. Many leaves are coated with a thin, waxy layer called the cuticle. This waterproof layer helps the plant to conserve water by preventing evaporation from the leaf's surface. The thickness of the cuticle often depends on the environment. Plants in dry climates like succulents tend to have very thick cuticles to minimize water loss. In contrast, plants in wet, shady environments may have much thinner ones. The cuticle also provides a barrier against pests and diseases, a simple shield protecting the delicate cells within. As the night settles, the plant is protected and calm. Let that settle like dust on a quiet floor. Roots can also sense water, a response called hydrotropism. If one side of a root is in contact with more moisture than the other, it will tend to grow in the direction of the water. This allows the plant to actively seek out sources of moisture in the soil, which is essential for its survival. The exact mechanism is still being studied, but it involves complex signaling pathways within the root tip. The root can detect very subtle differences in water potential in the soil and adjust its growth accordingly. Along a steady path, the plant finds what it needs to thrive. Return to the easy rhythm of your breath. The color change of leaves in autumn is a slow and beautiful process of preparation for winter. As the days grow shorter and cooler, trees begin to shut down their food-making operations. The green chlorophyll in the leaves, which is no longer needed, starts to break down. As the green fades, other pigments that were present in the leaf all along are revealed. Yellows and oranges, from pigments called carotenoids, become visible. In some trees, like maples, cool nights trigger the production of new red and purple pigments called anthocyanins. Through a soft lens, the tree lets go of one season to prepare for the next. Let the thoughts soften at the edges and fade. Not all roots grow underground. Some plants, like orchids and certain figs, have aerial roots that grow in the open air. These roots are adapted to absorb moisture directly from humidity and rainfall. They often have a spongy outer layer called velamen, which can quickly soak up and hold water. Aerial roots also help the plant cling to tree bark or other surfaces, allowing it to grow high above the forest floor where there is more sunlight. These roots do not seek the dark soil, but instead reach out into the air. In quieter hours, the plant gathers moisture from the atmosphere itself. Rest in the steady comfort of this moment. Leaves can be arranged on a stem in different patterns, a characteristic known as phyllotaxy. In some plants, leaves appear one at a time, alternating on opposite sides of the stem. In others, they grow in opposite pairs, or in whorls of 3 or more at each node. These arrangements are often mathematically precise, following patterns related to the Fibonacci sequence. The goal is to maximize the sun exposure for each leaf, ensuring that they do not excessively shade one another. In this quiet corner of botany, an elegant order unfolds. Set the idea down and feel the weight release. Many plants form a symbiotic relationship with fungi in the soil, known as a mycorrhizal network. The thread-like hyphae of the fungus colonize the plant's roots, acting as an extension of the root system. The fungus is much better at absorbing water and certain nutrients like phosphorus from the soil. It passes these resources to the plant. In return, the plant provides the fungus with sugars produced during photosynthesis. This underground partnership is incredibly common, with the vast majority of land plants participating in such a network. Beneath the surface, a silent exchange of nutrients supports the entire forest. Let your shoulders drop and the jaw unclench. The edges of leaves, known as their margins, also show great diversity. Some are smooth or entire. Others are toothed like a saw, called serrated. Some have rounded teeth known as crenate, while others have wavy or undulate margins. These features are not merely decorative. They can affect how the leaf interacts with its environment, influencing factors like water runoff and heat dissipation. A leaf with a toothed margin may begin photosynthesis earlier in a cool spring than a smooth-edged one. With simple patience, each plant expresses its unique adaptation. Feel the calm gather around you again. Some plants, like carrots, beets, and sweet potatoes, have developed specialized storage roots. These are thick, fleshy roots that serve as underground reservoirs for food, primarily in the form of starches and sugars. The plant stores this energy during its growing season. Then, during periods of dormancy, like winter, or to fuel its flowering and seed production in the next season, it draws upon these reserves. This is why many root vegetables are harvested at the end of their first growing season, when their storage roots are packed with nutrients and have a sweet, earthy flavor. In the silent soil, the plant saves energy for a later time. Settle back into the soft pace of night. The angle at which a leaf is attached to a stem is often optimized for its environment. In areas with intense sunlight, leaves may grow more vertically to reduce their exposure to the harsh midday sun and prevent overheating. This is common in plants like eucalyptus. In shady understory environments, leaves tend to grow more horizontally, spreading out like broad panels to capture as much of the limited, dappled light as possible. As the sun's slow journey unfolds across the sky, each leaf is positioned for balance. Allow the mind to idle in gentle space. Plants growing in waterlogged soil or swamps, like mangroves and cypress trees, often develop specialized roots called pneumatophores. These roots grow upward, out of the anaerobic mud and into the air. Their surfaces are covered with small pores that allow the root system to obtain oxygen, which is scarce in the surrounding water. These roots look like knees or snorkels sticking up from the ground or water's surface. They are a clever adaptation that allows these trees to breathe in an environment where most other plants would suffocate. Under quiet skies, the tree finds a way to get the air it needs. Let the body be held by what supports you. Leaf senescence is the formal term for the process of a leaf aging and dying, often culminating in autumn leaf drop. It is not a passive decay but an active, genetically programmed process. Before the leaf falls, the plant systematically dismantles the cells and withdraws valuable nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. These resources are transported back into the stem and roots to be stored for the winter and used for new growth in the spring. This careful recycling ensures that the plant loses as little as possible when it sheds its leaves. In this way, nothing is wasted. Allow the day to fall away now. The area of soil directly surrounding a plant's roots is called the rhizosphere. This zone is a bustling hub of microscopic life, chemically different from the rest of the soil. Roots release a variety of organic compounds, including sugars, amino acids, and vitamins, into this area. These substances feed a rich community of bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms. In turn, these microbes help to decompose organic matter, making nutrients available for the plant to absorb. This busy, invisible ecosystem is fueled by the plant's own roots. With steady breath, a quiet cycle of giving and receiving unfolds. Rest in the quiet that follows. Some leaves are covered in fine hairs, a feature called pubescence. These hairs, known as trichomes, can serve many functions. They can help reduce water loss by trapping a layer of still, humid air close to the leaf surface, slowing evaporation. They can also reflect excess sunlight, protecting the leaf from overheating. On some plants, these hairs are glandular, secreting oils or sticky substances that deter insects and other herbivores. The soft, fuzzy texture of a lamb's ear leaf is a beautiful example of a dense covering of trichomes. In the gentle background, these tiny structures provide protection and balance. Let your breathing find a slower pace. Many plants in the pea family have nodules on their roots that house nitrogen-fixing bacteria. These bacteria are capable of converting atmospheric nitrogen, a form that plants cannot use, into ammonia, which they can. This is another form of symbiosis. The plant provides a safe home and a steady supply of carbohydrates for the bacteria. In exchange, the bacteria provide the plant with an essential nutrient, acting as a built-in fertilizer factory. This relationship is a cornerstone of natural soil fertility, enriching the earth for future generations of plants. As the pattern repeats, nutrients are made available on the soil. Feel the simple ease of being here. Transpiration is the process of water movement through a plant and its evaporation from leaves. As water vapor exits the stomata, it creates a negative pressure or tension in the xylem, the plant's water-conducting tissue. This tension pulls more water up from the roots, creating a continuous column of water that flows from the soil, through the plant, and into the atmosphere. This process is silent and passive, powered by the drying effect of the air. It is how a tall tree can lift hundreds of gallons of water to its highest leaves without any pump. As you rest, this gentle upward flow continues. Hold only the calm and let the rest drift. Roots grow from their tips in a region called the apical meristem. This is an area of actively dividing cells that creates all the new tissues of the root. As new cells are produced, the older cells behind the tip elongate, pushing the root cap and the meristem forward through the soil. This means that any given section of a root does not move through the soil. It is only the very tip that ventures into new territory. The rest of the root remains in place, anchoring the plant and absorbing water. Over time, the root system expands its reach through this steady forward growth. Let the earth feel solid and supportive beneath you. Some desert plants have leaves that are reduced to tiny scales or even sharp spines like those on a cactus. This adaptation drastically reduces the surface area from which water can be lost. In these plants, the function of photosynthesis is taken over by the green, fleshy stems. The spines also serve a secondary purpose, protecting the plant from thirsty animals seeking the water stored in its tissues. This is a profound change in form, where the leaf sacrifices its role as a solar panel to become a guardian of the plant's precious water reserves. In this quiet corner, life adapts to scarcity. Let that idea rest for a moment before we move on. When a root encounters an obstacle, like a rock, it exhibits a response called thigmotropism, or touch-based growth. The root cap can sense the physical pressure. It then sends signals that cause the root to grow around the object instead of trying to push through it. This allows the root to navigate the complex, often dense, environment of the soil without damaging its delicate growing tip. It is a slow, patient navigation, a yielding to the path of least resistance that ultimately allows the root to continue its downward journey. In a calm rhythm, the plant finds its way. Nothing urgent here, only a slow and steady pattern. Many plants exhibit a behavior called phototropism, where their leaves and stems grow toward a light source. This is controlled by a plant hormone called auxin. When light shines on one side of a stem, auxin accumulates on the shaded side. This hormone stimulates cell elongation, so the cells on the shady side grow longer and faster than those on the sunny side. This differential growth causes the stem to bend and grow toward the light, maximizing its ability to capture energy for photosynthesis. With simple patience, the plant orients itself toward the sun. You can breathe a little deeper and allow the thought to drift. Prop roots are a type of aerial root that grows from the stem or trunk down into the soil. They act as braces or stilts, providing extra support for the plant. They are common on plants like corn, helping to anchor the tall, slender stalks. In mangrove trees, they form a dense, tangled network that not only stabilizes the tree in soft coastal mud, but also helps trap sediment, slowly building up the land around them. These roots emerge from the plant above the ground, reaching down to find a firm hold in the earth. Without any hurry, they create a stronger foundation. Hold the shape of that thought lightly and return to ease. Leaf venation patterns can be either parallel or net-like. In parallel venation, found in plants like grasses and lilies, the veins run alongside each other for the length of the leaf. In net-like or reticulate venation, common in plants like oaks and roses, the veins branch out, forming an intricate, interconnected web. This network not only distributes water efficiently, but also provides redundancy. If a small part of a vein is damaged, the network ensures that the surrounding leaf tissue can still receive water from other pathways. Elsewhere in this picture, a quiet resilience is built into the leaf's design. Let the body grow heavier as the mind stays simple. The function of roots is not limited to absorption and anchorage. Many plants use their roots for asexual reproduction. Plants like aspen trees and dandelions can send up new shoots from their root systems. These shoots, called suckers, can grow into new, genetically identical plants. This allows a single plant to spread and form a large colony or grove over time. A whole forest of aspen trees may actually be a single organism, connected by a vast underground root network. Beneath the surface, the plant quietly expands its presence. Let that settle like dust on a quiet floor. Aquatic plants often have leaves with special adaptations for life in water. Floating leaves, like those of a water lily, are typically broad and flat with their stomata on the upper surface to facilitate gas exchange with the air. Their waxy cuticle repels water, keeping them dry. Submerged leaves are often finely dissected or ribbon-like, which reduces resistance to water currents and maximizes the surface area for absorbing dissolved gases directly from the water. These forms are perfectly suited to their gentle, watery world. Lit by gentle sunlight filtering through the water, the plant thrives. Return to the easy rhythm of your breath. Roots can form graft with the roots of other trees, even those of a different species. When two roots grow in close proximity, they can fuse together, creating a shared vascular system. This allows for the transfer of water, nutrients, and sugars between the connected trees. In a forest, this underground network can link many individuals together. A healthy tree can share resources with a struggling neighbor. An older, established tree can even help nourish young seedlings growing in the deep shade of the understory. In the silent soil, a community quietly supports its members. Let the thoughts soften at the edges and fade. Some plants have leaves that are modified into tendrils. These are slender, whip-like structures that the plant uses for climbing. When a tendril touches a solid object, like a fence or another plant's stem, it coils around it, providing support. This is a form of thigmotropism, a response to touch. Plants like peas and grapevines use tendrils to lift themselves up toward the sunlight without having to invest energy in growing a thick, supportive trunk. The leaf gives up its photosynthetic role to become a graceful tool for climbing. With unhurried steps, the plant reaches for the light. Rest in the steady comfort of this moment. Roots of parasitic plants, like mistletoe and dodder, are modified into structures called haustoria. These specialized roots penetrate the tissues of a host plant. They tap into the host's vascular system, drawing water and nutrients directly from it. Instead of gathering resources from the soil, these plants steal them from another plant. Dodder, a leafless, vine-like plant, can form a dense golden web over its host, its haustoria plugged in like tiny siphons, sustaining a life entirely dependent on its neighbor. In this quiet corner of the plant world, survival takes a different path. Set the idea down and feel the weight release. The color of a leaf is determined by the pigments it contains. The most common pigment is chlorophyll, which is green because it absorbs red and blue light and reflects green light. Other pigments, called accessory pigments, are also present. Carotenoids reflect yellow and orange light, while anthocyanins can be red, purple, or blue. In most leaves, the sheer abundance of chlorophyll masks these other colors. Only when the chlorophyll breaks down, as in autumn, do the other pigments become visible. Through a soft lens, we see the hidden colors of the leaf revealed. Let your shoulders drop and the jaw unclench. Some trees, like the banyan, produce massive aerial roots that grow down from their branches. When these roots reach the ground, they thicken and become woody, forming pillar-like prop roots. Over time, a single banyan tree can create a vast grove that appears to be a whole forest of individual trunks, all connected to the original tree. These pillar roots provide immense support for the tree's heavy, spreading branches, allowing it to grow to an incredible size. From a distance, the tree looks like a small, self-contained woodland. Feel the calm gather around you again. Plants that live in nutrient-poor environments like bogs have evolved carnivorous leaves. The leaves of a Venus flytrap are modified into a jaw-like trap that can snap shut on an insect. The pitcher plant has leaves shaped like a vase, filled with digestive fluids. These plants still perform photosynthesis, but they supplement their diet by capturing and digesting insects. This provides them with essential nutrients like nitrogen that are missing from the soil. The leaf becomes both a solar panel and a gentle trap. As the night settles, nature reveals its clever adaptations. Settle back into the soft pace of night. plant's root system can be divided into zones. At the very tip is the zone of cell division, the apical meristem. Just behind that is the zone of elongation, where new cells stretch out, pushing the root forward. And behind that is the zone of maturation or differentiation. It is in this mature zone that the cells develop into their final forms, and where the all-important root hairs emerge. Disorganized, linear progression of development ensures that the root can grow and function efficiently. As the pattern repeats, the root extends its reach into the earth. Allow the mind to idle in gentle space. Guttation is a process sometimes mistaken for dew. It is the exudation of drops of xylem sap from the tips or edges of leaves. It usually happens at night, when the soil is very moist and transpiration is low because the stomata are closed. The pressure from water being absorbed by the roots continues to build, and it physically forces water out of special pores called hydrathodes. In the morning, you might see these perfect tiny beads of water arranged along the edge of a leaf, a sign of a healthy, well-watered plant. In the gentle background, the plant's internal pressure finds a release. Let the body be held by what supports you. The roots of some desert plants produce a waxy coating that forms a sheath around them. This sheath, made of sand grains cemented together with plant secretions, helps the root retain moisture. It creates a small, protected microenvironment, reducing water loss to the dry surrounding soil and shielding the root from extreme temperatures. It also helps to stabilize the loose sand. The root builds its own small sleeve of protection as it grows, a private channel through the arid landscape. Following the water, the plant creates its own oasis. Allow the day to fall away now. Leaf abscission is the controlled process by which a plant sheds its leaves. A special layer of cells, the abscission layer, forms at the base of the leaf petiole, where it attaches to the stem. As the leaf ages, the cells in this layer begin to weaken and separate. Eventually, only the delicate vascular connections are left holding the leaf on. A gentle breeze or even the leaf's own weight is enough to break it free, leaving behind a clean scar on the stem that quickly heals. With unhurried steps, the plant lets go of what is no longer needed. Rest in the quiet that follows. Roots can communicate. When a plant is being attacked by pests, its roots can release chemical signals into the soil. These signals can be detected by the roots of nearby plants. This serves as an early warning system, prompting the neighboring plants to activate their own chemical defenses before they are attacked. This underground network of communication links individual plants into a more resilient community. A silent conversation is happening constantly, just beneath our feet. With steady breath, the plants share information and support. Let your breathing find a slower pace. The petiole is the stalk that attaches the leaf blade to the stem. It can be long or short, thick or slender. Its primary function is to hold the leaf out in a position where it can receive sunlight. But the petiole is also flexible, allowing the leaf to twist and turn in the wind without breaking. In some plants, like celery, the petiole is enlarged and fleshy, serving as a storage organ. In others, the base of the petiole can swell to form a structure that helps control the angle of the leaf. Without any hurry, this small stalk performs many vital functions. Feel the simple ease of being here. Buttress roots are large, wide roots that grow on all sides of a shallowly rooted tree. They are most common on rainforest trees that grow in thin, nutrient-poor soil. These roots, which can be several meters tall, radiate out from the base of the trunk, providing a broad and stable foundation. They prevent the massive trees from toppling over in the soft soil. They look like sculpted walls or fins at the base of the tree, a beautiful example of form perfectly matching function. On the forest floor, These giants are braced and steady. Hold only the calm and let the rest drift. A bud is a small embryonic shoot located at the tip of a stem or in the axil of a leaf. Inside the bud, protected by tough outer scales, are the beginnings of new leaves, stems, or flowers. Buds allow a plant to survive harsh conditions, like winter or a dry season. They keep the delicate growing tissues safe until conditions are favorable for growth to resume. When spring arrives, the bud scales fall away and the new shoot rapidly expands, a fresh burst of life unfurling from a tiny protected package. As the pattern repeats, seasons change and new growth emerges. Let the earth feel solid and supportive. Some roots are contractile. They have the ability to shorten and pull the plant deeper into the soil. This is common in plants that grow from bulbs or corms, like crocuses and gladioli. As the plant grows, these roots can shrink, adjusting the bulb's depth to an optimal level where the temperature and moisture are more stable. This action helps to keep the bulb from being pushed out of the ground by frost heave or from becoming exposed on the surface. In a calm rhythm, the plant secures itself in the perfect position. Feel the gentle pull of stillness. Variegated leaves have patterns of different colors, often green mixed with white, yellow, or pink. This variegation can be caused by a number of factors. Sometimes it is a genetic mutation that prevents some cells from producing chlorophyll, creating white or yellow patches. Other times it is caused by microscopic air pockets beneath the leaf's surface that reflect light, giving a silvery appearance. While often beautiful, the non-green parts of the leaf cannot photosynthesize. These plants are lovely, but they grow more slowly than their all-green counterparts. Up close, each pattern is unique and calm. Let that idea rest for a moment before we move on. Perennial plants often store carbohydrates in their roots over the winter. This underground energy reserve is what allows them to send up new shoots and leaves quickly in the spring, often before other plants have even begun to grow. The roots act like a battery, charged during the previous summer's growth. This strategy gives them a competitive advantage, allowing them to start photosynthesizing as soon as the weather warms. The quiet work of the previous year fuels the sudden burst of life in the new one. In the cool earth, the plant waits patiently for spring. Nothing urgent here, only a slow and steady pattern. Leaves can orient themselves to track the sun's movement across the sky, a phenomenon called heliotropism. Young sunflowers are a classic example, their flower heads and leaves facing east in the morning and following the sun to the west throughout the day. At night, they slowly reorient themselves to face east again, ready for the sunrise. This movement is driven by changes in water pressure in specialized cells at the base of the leaf or flower stalk. It maximizes the plant's light absorption, especially during the crucial morning hours. With the sun's slow journey, the plant turns its face to the light. You can breathe a little deeper and allow the thought to drift. The architecture of a root system is not accidental. It is a carefully controlled balance between exploring new territory and exploiting existing patches of resources. The plant can control the angle at which its side roots branch off, and it can stimulate more branching in areas of the soil that are rich in nutrients or water. This creates a root system that is intelligently designed to efficiently mine the soil, focusing its energy where the rewards are greatest. The invisible half of the plant is a map of resource discovery. Meanwhile, the world above the soil is calm and still. Hold the shape of that thought lightly and return to ease. The veins of a leaf are not all the same size. There is a hierarchy, from the large central midrib to smaller secondary veins, and then to even tinier tertiary veins that form a fine mesh. This branching network is incredibly efficient at distributing water over the entire surface of the leaf. It ensures that every photosynthetic cell is just a short distance from a water supply. This design principle, a branching network for efficient transport, is found again and again in nature, from river deltas to our own circulatory systems. In this quiet corner, an elegant and universal pattern is revealed. Let the body grow heavier as the mind stays simple. Some plants, like ginger and iris, have a modified underground stem called a rhizome, which is often mistaken for a root. Rhizomes grow horizontally in the soil, and they can send up new shoots from nodes along their length. They also have roots that grow down from them to absorb water. Rhizomes serve as storage organs and are a means of vegetative spread, allowing a plant to form a large, interconnected colony. They are stems that have adapted to an underground life, blurring the line between what is a root and what is a stem. With unhurried steps, the plant expands just beneath the surface. Let that settle like dust on a quiet floor. Many leaves have a drip tip, a long, pointed end that allows rainwater to run off quickly. This is a common feature on plants in tropical rainforests, where rainfall is heavy and frequent. By shedding water efficiently, the drip tip prevents a film of water from sitting on the leaf, which could block sunlight and inhibit photosynthesis. It also helps to prevent the growth of fungi and algae on the leaf surface. This simple, elegant shape helps the leaf stay clean and dry in a very wet world. In a calm rhythm, the plant adapts to abundance. Return to the easy rhythm of your breath. The central part of a root, called the stele or vascular cylinder, contains the xylem and phloem. These are the transport tissues that run throughout the entire plant. The xylem carries water and minerals up from the roots, and the phloem distributes sugars from the leaves downward. This central core is protected by the surrounding cortex and epidermis. The arrangement of these tissues is strong and efficient, forming a continuous pipeline connecting the farthest root tip to the highest leaf. Along a steady path, resources flow quietly through the plant. Let the thoughts soften at the edges and fade. Evergreen plants, like pines and spruces, have leaves that are adapted to survive cold and dry conditions. These needle-like or scale-like leaves have a very small surface area and a thick, waxy cuticle, which drastically reduces water loss. Their stomata are sunken in pits, further protecting them from drying winds. Because they keep their leaves year-round, evergreens can start photosynthesizing as soon as temperatures are warm enough in the spring, without having to spend energy growing a new set of leaves. Through a soft lens, we see a plant designed for patience and endurance. Rest in the steady comfort of this moment. Plants can be sensitive to soil compaction. When soil is too dense, it reduces the amount of oxygen available to the roots, which they need for respiration. Compacted soil is also physically harder for roots to penetrate, slowing their growth and limiting their access to water and nutrients. A healthy soil has plenty of pore space, a loose and crumbly structure that allows for the easy passage of air, water, and growing roots. The unseen world beneath our feet requires room to breathe. With steady breath, the soil ecosystem remains in balance. Set the idea down and feel the weight release. Some leaves, like those of the sensitive plant, can move rapidly in response to touch. When a leaflet is touched, it folds up almost instantly. This movement is caused by a sudden change in water pressure in a specialized joint-like structure at the base of the leaflet called a pulvinus. The cells on one side of the pulvinus rapidly lose water, causing the leaflet to collapse. This startling movement may serve to deter herbivores or dislodge insects. After a few minutes of calm, the leaflet will slowly unfold again. In quieter hours, the plant returns to its open, resting state. Let your shoulders drop and the jaw unclench. Not all roots are positively gravitropic, meaning they do not all grow downward. The upward growing pneumatophores of mangrove trees are an example of negative gravitropism. Some roots also grow horizontally, a response called diagotropism. This allows them to explore the upper layers of soil more effectively. The plant fine-tunes the growth direction of its roots, balancing the need to go deep for stability and water with the need to spread out and capture nutrients near the surface. From a distance, the root system is a complex three-dimensional structure. Feel the calm gather around you again. When a leaf is damaged, for instance by an insect chewing on it, the plant can release volatile organic compounds into the air. These airborne chemicals can act as a signal to other parts of the same plant, prompting them to mount a defensive response. Even more remarkably, these signals can be picked up by nearby plants, which then also begin to produce defensive chemicals in anticipation of an attack. The quiet air of a garden can be filled with these invisible messages, a silent alarm system for the plant community. As the wind blows gently, information is shared. Settle back into the soft pace of night. The process of root decay is as important as root growth. When a root dies, it leaves behind a channel in the soil. This channel improves soil aeration and water infiltration. The decaying root matter itself becomes organic material, food for microbes and earthworms, which further enriches the soil. This cycle of growth and decay continually builds healthier, more fertile soil over time. The death of one part of the plant contributes to the life of the whole ecosystem. In the gentle background, a quiet process of renewal takes place. Allow the mind to idle in gentle space. In some plants, leaves are modified to store water. These are the thick, fleshy leaves of succulents, like aloe vera and jade plants. The cells inside these leaves are large and specialized for water storage, allowing the plant to survive long periods of drought. The waxy cuticle on the outside further reduces water loss. These plants collect water when it is available and carefully ration it through dry spells. The leaf is transformed from a thin solar panel into a living canteen. Under quiet skies, the plant holds its own reservoir of life. Let the body be held by what supports you. Root systems can exert immense pressure as they grow. A tiny root finding its way into a small crack in a rock can, over years of slow growth and expansion, widen that crack until the rock splits apart. This is a powerful force of biological weathering. We see its effects in sidewalks cracked by tree roots. It is a testament to the quiet, relentless power of growth. The gentle pressure of a living thing, applied over a long time, can change the very stone it grows upon. With simple patience, the plant reshapes its environment. Allow the day to fall away now. The stipule is a small, leaf-like appendage that is sometimes found at the base of a leaf's petiole. Stipules can take many forms. In some plants, they are large and look like small leaves themselves, even contributing to photosynthesis. In others, they are modified into sharp spines, providing protection for the plant. In many plants, their main job is to protect the young, developing leaf bud, and they fall off as the leaf unfurls. These small, often overlooked parts of the plant play a quiet, protective role. Elsewhere in this picture, small details support the whole. Rest in the quiet that follows. The roots of dandelion plants have a remarkable ability to regenerate. If you pull a dandelion but leave even a small piece of its taproot in the ground, that fragment can often grow into a completely new plant. This is a powerful survival strategy, making the plant very difficult to remove. The taproot stores enough energy and contains enough undifferentiated tissue to create a new shoot and leaves, starting the cycle all over again. The plant's persistence is held deep within its root. As the pattern repeats, life finds a way to return. Let your breathing find a slower pace. The surface of a leaf is often host to a complex microbial community known as the phyllosphere. Just like our own skin, The leaf surface is home to bacteria, fungi, and yeasts that live there. Most of these microbes are harmless or even beneficial. Some can help protect the plant from disease-causing pathogens, while others can fix nitrogen from the atmosphere. This invisible ecosystem is part of the plant's world, a thin layer of life on the boundary between the plant and the air. Up close, the surface of a simple leaf is a living landscape. Feel the simple ease of being here. In the deep shade of a forest floor, some plants have evolved to be saprophytes, getting their energy not from the sun, but from decaying organic matter. The ghost plant, for example, is entirely white because it has no chlorophyll. Its roots form a complex relationship with the same mycorrhizal fungi that connect to the surrounding trees. The ghost plant essentially taps into this network and siphons off nutrients that the fungi have obtained from dead leaves and wood in the soil. It is a plant that lives without light, fed by the decay of the forest. In the silent soil, a network of exchange has many participants. Hold only the calm and let the rest drift. The branching pattern of a leaf's veins or its venation has a fractal-like quality. This means that the pattern of large veins branching into smaller ones is repeated at smaller and smaller scales. This self-similar design is incredibly efficient for distributing fluid across a two-dimensional surface. It ensures that every part of the leaf is well supplied while using the minimum amount of material to build the vein network. This same principle of fractal branching is seen in many natural systems that involve transport and distribution. In this quiet corner, an elegant mathematical principle is at play. Let the earth feel solid and supportive. Some tree roots can grow to astonishing depths. The roots of the shepherd's tree in the Kalahari Desert have been found to reach depths of over 68 meters, or 220 feet, in their search for groundwater. While most tree roots occupy the top meter or so of soil, plants in arid environments must send their roots on a deep journey to find a reliable source of water. This incredible downward growth is a testament to the plant's persistence and its ability to survive in the most challenging conditions. Following the water, the root travels far into the deep earth. Feel the gentle pull of stillness. The color of fall leaves can be influenced by the weather. A warm, sunny autumn produces more sugars in the leaves, which can lead to the formation of more red and purple anthocyanin pigments, resulting in more vibrant red foliage. An early frost can kill the leaves before the pigments have fully developed, leading to less brilliant colors. A cloudy, rainy autumn may result in more muted yellows and browns. The beauty of each autumn is a unique result of the interplay between the tree's internal clock and the weather of that specific year. Over time, each season paints a slightly different picture. Let that idea rest for a moment before we move on. The border between the root cap and the main body of the root is a region of intense signaling. This is where the root makes decisions about its growth direction. It integrates information about gravity, water, nutrients, and obstacles to determine the best path forward. If one signal, like the presence of a toxin, conflicts with another, like the pull of gravity, this region acts as a simple brain, weighing the inputs and directing the root's response. The root does not think, but it processes information and makes adaptive choices. Without any hurry, it navigates a complex world. Nothing urgent here, only a slow and steady pattern. Not all leaves are green. The coleus plant, for example, is famous for its colorful leaves in shades of pink, red, purple, and orange. In these plants, the concentration of anthocyanin and carotenoid pigments is so high that it completely masks the green chlorophyll. The chlorophyll is still there, and the plant is still photosynthesizing. But its green color is hidden beneath a brilliant display of other hues. It is a reminder that what we see on the surface is not always the complete story. In a calm rhythm, the plant carries out its quiet work beneath a colorful exterior. You can breathe a little deeper and allow the thought to drift. Knees of cypress trees, or pneumatophores, were long thought to function mainly for gas exchange. However, recent research suggests their primary role may be to provide structural support and anchorage in the soft, wet soil of swamps. These woody growths help to stabilize the massive trees, acting like buttresses to brace them against hurricane force winds. While they do allow for some oxygen intake, their role as anchors may be even more critical for the survival of these long-lived giants in their unstable environment. With the same easy pace, science refines its understanding of the natural world. Hold the shape of that thought lightly and return to ease. The lifespan of a leaf varies enormously between species. For an annual garden plant, a leaf may live for only a few months. For a deciduous tree, its leaves last for a single growing season. But for some evergreen trees, a single needle can persist and photosynthesize for many years. Bristlecone pines, some of the oldest living organisms on Earth, can retain their needles for over 40 years. Each leaf is a long-term investment, slowly contributing to the tree's ancient life. Along a steady path, the plant finds a rhythm of growth that suits its long existence. Let the body grow heavier as the mind stays simple. Roots release a significant portion of the carbon they get from photosynthesis back into the soil. This process, called root exudation, releases sugars and other compounds that feed the microbial community in the rhizosphere. This might seem wasteful, but it is a strategic investment. By nurturing a healthy microbial population, the plant ensures better nutrient cycling, improved soil structure, and protection from pathogens. The plant gives a little of its energy away to create a healthier home for itself. Beneath the surface, this quiet act of generosity benefits the entire system. Let that settle like dust on a quiet floor. Plants that grow in the windiest environments often have leaves that are finely divided or ribbon-like. This shape reduces drag, allowing the wind to pass through the leaves without tearing them or uprooting the plant. Grasses are a perfect example. Their long, flexible leaves simply bend and flow with the wind. The same principle applies to the finely dissected leaves of a fennel plant or the fronds of a palm tree. The form of the leaf yields to the force of the wind, a strategy of resilience through flexibility. Carried on the breeze, the plant moves without breaking. Return to the easy rhythm of your breath. Clinging roots are another type of aerial root used by climbing plants like ivy and climbing hydrangeas. These roots emerge all along the stem and are very short and tough. They produce a sticky substance that helps them adhere firmly to surfaces like stone walls, tree bark, or buildings. They are not primarily for absorption but for anchorage, allowing the plant to climb vertically up a sheer surface. These roots work their way into tiny cracks and crevices, providing a secure grip as the plant reaches for the sun. With unhurried steps, the plant climbs its chosen path. Let the thought soften at the edges and fade. A leaf's shape can even change as a plant gets older. This is called heterophyly. A young eucalyptus tree, for instance, has round, bluish leaves that grow in opposite pairs. As the tree matures, it begins to produce long, sickle-shaped adult leaves that hang vertically. The juvenile leaves are designed to capture as much sunlight as possible for a small, growing plant. The adult leaves are adapted to reduce heat stress and water loss for a tall tree exposed to the full sun. The plant changes its form as it passes through different stages of its life. Through a soft lens, we see the plant adapt and mature. Rest in the steady comfort of this moment. The architecture of a plant's root system has two main forms. A taproot system, common in plants like carrots and dandelions, consists of one large central root that grows straight down with smaller lateral roots branching off it. A fibrous root system, found in grasses and onions, is composed of a dense mass of many thin roots that spread out from the base of the plant. Taproots are good for reaching deep water sources and providing strong anchorage. Fibrous systems are excellent at holding soil together and capturing surface water. In the silent soil, each plant has its own strategy for survival. Set the idea down and feel the weight release. Sometimes, the veins of a leaf can be a different color from the rest of the blade, creating a striking pattern. This can be a natural feature, as in some varieties of caladium with bright pink or red veins. It can also be a sign of a nutrient deficiency. For example, a lack of magnesium can cause the areas between the veins to turn yellow, while the veins themselves remain green. The pattern on the leaf can be a quiet indicator of the plant's health and the condition of the soil it lives in. Up close, the leaf tells a story about its own well-being. Let your shoulders drop and the jaw unclench. The roots of mangrove trees are adapted to salty environments. They can exclude salt at the point of absorption, using a filtration system in their root membranes to take in water while leaving most of the salt behind. Any salt that does get into the plant can be accumulated in old leaves, which are then shed, removing the salt from the plant. This allows mangroves to thrive in coastal estuaries where the water is too saline for most other plants to survive. Following the water, the plant finds a way to live with salt. Feel the calm gather around you again. The size of leaves can range from incredibly tiny to enormous. The aquatic plant duckweed has leaves that are barely a millimeter across. At the other extreme, the raffia palm has the longest leaves in the plant kingdom, which can grow up to 25 meters or 82 feet in length. These are compound leaves, resembling colossal feathers. The size and shape of a leaf is a solution to a set of environmental problems, a balance of light, water, temperature, and wind. From a distance, this range of sizes creates the varied tapestry of the plant world. Settle back into the soft pace of night. Roots can detect and grow toward patches of nutrients in the soil. This response, sometimes called chemotropism, allows the plant to forage efficiently. If the root encounters a pocket of nitrates or phosphates, it will often proliferate in that area, producing a dense cluster of highly branched lateral roots to fully exploit the resource. Meanwhile, roots growing in nutrient-poor areas of the soil will be less branched. In this way, the plant invests its energy wisely, building its absorptive structures where they will be most effective. As the pattern repeats, the plant maps the resources hidden in the earth. Allow the mind to idle in gentle space. Stomata, the pores on a leaf, often open in the morning and close in the afternoon. This daily rhythm is controlled by an internal biological clock, as well as by environmental cues like light and humidity. This allows the plant to maximize its carbon dioxide uptake for photosynthesis during the morning, when temperatures are cooler and water is more plentiful, and then conserve water during the hotter, drier part of the day. This quiet, daily cycle of opening and closing is a simple, elegant strategy for balancing food production and water conservation. In a calm rhythm, the plant breathes with the day. Let the body be held by what supports you. Many roots are colonized by arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi. These fungi actually penetrate the root cells, forming intricate, tree-like structures called arbuscules inside them. This is the site of nutrient exchange. The fungus delivers minerals like phosphorus to the plant cell, and in return, the plant delivers sugars to the fungus. This incredibly intimate partnership happens on a microscopic scale, a quiet fusion of two different kingdoms of life for mutual benefit. Beneath the surface, a complex and beautiful collaboration unfolds. Allow the day to fall away now. Some plants have leaves that appear iridescent, shimmering with a blue or greenish sheen. This effect is caused by a highly specialized structure in the leaf's epidermis that acts like a crystal, manipulating light. These plants, often found in the deep shade of rainforest understories, have adapted to capture the very limited light available. The iridescence helps to channel the available green and blue light more efficiently to the photosynthetic cells. The leaf becomes a living jewel, making the most of a few flecks of light. In the gentle background, beauty and function are one. Rest in the quiet that follows. When a plant experiences drought, its roots can produce a hormone called abscisic acid. This hormone is transported up to the leaves, where it acts as a signal to the guard cells, causing the stomata to close. This is a crucial defense mechanism that reduces water loss through transpiration, helping the plant to survive until the next rain. The roots are the first to sense the lack of water in the soil, and they send an urgent but silent message to the leaves above to conserve their precious supply. With steady breath, the plant enters a state of conservation. Let your breathing find a slower pace. In some plants, especially in the pea family, the entire leaf is modified into a tendril for climbing. In these cases, photosynthesis is taken over by flattened, leaf-like stipules at the base of the tendril. In the garden pea, for example, what look like the main leaves of the plant are actually oversized stipules. The true leaves have been transformed into a delicate network of tendrils that help the vine-like plant cling to supports. This is a fascinating trade-off, where different parts of the plant swap their typical roles. With the same easy pace, the plant finds a unique way to reach the light. Feel the simple ease of being here. The tips of some roots are known to oscillate or spiral as they grow. This movement, called circumnutation, helps the root tip to explore the surrounding soil as it moves forward. Instead of just pushing straight ahead, this corkscrew-like motion allows the root to probe a wider area, increasing its chances of finding pathways of least resistance or pockets of water and nutrients. It is a slow, rhythmic dance into the darkness of the soil, a subtle exploration that makes its journey more efficient. In this quiet corner, the root feels its way forward. Hold only the calm and let the rest drift. Sun leaves and shade leaves on the same tree can be very different. Sun leaves, which grow on the outer upper parts of the canopy, are typically smaller, thicker, and have more layers of photosynthetic cells to handle the intense light. Shade leaves, growing in the interior of the canopy, are usually larger and thinner. This broad, thin shape is like a wide solar panel, designed to capture as much of the limited, dappled light as possible. One tree can thus have two different types of leaves, each perfectly adapted to its own local light environment. Elsewhere in this picture, the tree fine-tunes its own design. Let the earth feel solid and supportive. The roots of an epiphyte, a plant that grows on another plant, are not for absorbing nutrients from the soil. Instead, they serve primarily as anchors, clinging to the bark of the host tree. These plants, like many orchids and bromeliads, get their water from rain and their nutrients from decaying leaves and other debris that collects around their roots. The roots form a kind of basket that traps this organic matter, creating a small, personal compost pile high up in the tree canopy. In quieter hours, the plant creates its own soil far from the ground. Feel the gentle pull of stillness. Many desert plants use a special type of photosynthesis called CAM. To conserve water, these plants keep their stomata tightly closed during the hot, dry day. Then, in the cool of the night, they open their stomata to collect carbon dioxide. They store this carbon dioxide as an organic acid. During the following day, with the stomata closed again, they release the stored carbon dioxide inside the leaf and use the daylight to complete the process of photosynthesis. This clever separation of tasks and time allows the plant to thrive in an environment where water is extremely scarce. As the night settles, the work of the plant continues. Let that idea rest for a moment before we move on. Lateral roots, the smaller roots that branch off from a main root do not emerge randomly. They originate from a deep internal layer of the parent root called the pericycle. A new lateral root has to push its way out through the cortex and epidermis of the main root before it can emerge into the soil. Their development is carefully controlled by the plant, which initiates new branches in response to environmental cues or developmental signals. This ordered process ensures that the root system expands in a structured, efficient way. As the pattern repeats, the root system branches out in a balanced form. Nothing urgent here, only a slow and steady pattern. Plants can defend their leaves from herbivores by producing a wide array of chemical compounds. Some, like tannins, make the leaves taste bitter and unpalatable. Others, like the alkaloids in milkweed, are toxic and can make an animal sick. These chemicals are part of the plant's immune system, a silent and effective defense against being eaten. The production of these compounds often increases after a plant has been damaged, a sign that the plant is actively responding to a threat. In the gentle background, a quiet chemical battle is being waged. You can breathe a little deeper and allow the thought to drift. Root hairs are incredibly delicate and have a very short lifespan, often lasting only a few days. As the root tip grows forward into new soil, new root hairs are constantly being formed just behind it, while the older ones further back wither and die. This means the zone of active water and nutrient absorption is always moving forward with the growing tip. The plant continually invests its energy in creating these tiny, temporary structures right where they are needed most, in the fresh, unexplored soil. Through a soft lens, we see a plant in constant, quiet renewal. Hold the shape of that thought lightly and return to ease. The veins in a leaf create a pattern that is not only beautiful but also mechanically strong. The network of veins acts like a skeleton, preventing the leaf from tearing in the wind. The pattern also helps to contain damage. If a part of the leaf is eaten by an insect, the grid of small veins can help to stop a crack from spreading across the entire leaf blade. This combination of efficient transport and structural integrity makes the leaf a marvel of multi-purpose design. Up close, the delicate veins reveal their hidden strength. Let the body grow heavier as the mind stays simple. Some plants have roots that can store oxygen. In wetlands where the soil is anaerobic or lacking in oxygen, some plants can transport oxygen from their leaves down to their roots through porous tissues in the stem. The roots can then let some of this oxygen leak out into the surrounding soil. This creates a small oxygenated zone right around the root, which helps the root to function and protects it from toxic compounds in the anaerobic soil. The plant creates its own breathable bubble in the suffocating mud. In this quiet corner, the plant engineers its own environment. Let that settle like dust on a quiet floor. The way a leaf is folded within its bud is called tixis. There are many different ways a developing leaf can be packed into a small space before it unfurls. Some are folded like a fan. Others are rolled up like a scroll. Some are folded in half along their midrib. This intricate origami-like folding protects the delicate young leaf and allows it to expand rapidly when the time is right. The beauty of a fern frond unfurling is a slow-motion display of this process. With simple patience, the new leaf opens to the world. Return to the easy rhythm of your breath. The growth of a root is not always smooth. It often proceeds in a series of pulses, with periods of faster growth alternating with periods of slower growth. This can be influenced by daily cycles of temperature and water availability, or by the root's encounter with different soil conditions. It is a slow, rhythmic advance, a pushing forward that is often punctuated by pauses for consolidation or navigation. This pulsing growth is an echo of the changing world the root is exploring. Over time, these small starts and stops add up to a long journey through the earth. Let the thought soften at the edges and fade. The color of a leaf can act as a signal to insects. Some aphids, for example, are more attracted to yellow-green colors. By changing their leaf color in autumn from green to yellow and red, trees may be signaling to these insects that the leaves are no longer a good source of nutrition and are preparing to drop. This may discourage the insects from laying their eggs on the tree. The brilliant colors of fall may be more than just a byproduct of senescence. They may be an active part of the tree's defense strategy. In nature, color is often a form of quiet communication. Rest in the steady comfort of this moment. The total length of the root system of a single plant can be astounding. A single rye plant, grown for just 4 months, was found to have a root system that, if laid end to end, would stretch for over 600 kilometers or 380 miles. The vast majority of this was made up of incredibly fine, delicate roots and root hairs. This gives you a sense of the immense hidden surface area that a plant uses to draw its sustenance from the soil. The visible part of the plant is supported by an invisible network of almost unimaginable scale. Without any hurry, this vast system does its silent work. Set the idea down and feel the weight release. And so our journey through the quiet world of leaves and roots comes to a gentle close. We have drifted from the sunlit surface of a leaf, with its tiny breathing pores, down into the dark and patient soil. We have felt the slow, persistent push of a root tip and the elegant unfurling of a new leaf from its bud. Each fact a small seed planted in the quiet soil of your mind. There is nothing to hold on to now. The information can settle and rest, just as you are settling and resting. The silent work of the plants will continue through the night, a rhythm of growth and stillness that mirrors your own breathing. Allow yourself to feel connected to this deep and patient world. You can let go of the day and drift peacefully into sleep, held by the calm of the earth. I hope you sleep well. Good night.